Hello everyone, welcome to Downtown Tailoring. In today's video, we are going to add pockets to a dress. So let's go. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. This is the dress for adding pockets. As you can see, this dress is a little bit too long. So we are gonna shorten and make it more comfortable for my customer with the pockets. This dress have a very nice border, so we are going to shorten by moving it. For that, I measure how much I need to shorten, and then I will mark this amount from the border up, and after I will leave 1 inch extra for seam allowance just in case the dress needed to be lengthened a little bit. And then I will cut it, serge, and then I will sew back my border, and ta-da! It looks really cute. Now let's go to our real job, the pockets. When you are doing a pockets, a good height for them is about 3.5 inches from the waist. You can make it a little lower if you like, but this is a good measurement. And the width is from 5 to 6 inches, more or less, depends on you. I'm flipping my dress inside out and I'm gonna measure these 3.5 inches and then the 5 inches and a half for the width. And then I'm gonna open this side. But before that, I'm gonna place my dress on top of a paper and I will mark more or less the side of the dress, and then I will use my hand as a guide to draw a pocket that will be comfortable enough and big enough for the cell phone. Now I'm gonna go again and I will mark my points, and now I can open my sides, leaving an extra 1.5 inches on top and underneath my marks. I have the pattern of my pocket and I have this leftover material that I cannot use to make a full pocket, but I can make a facing with it. And mostly because the fabric I have is a little too dark. So I'm gonna take my pattern and I will mark 2 inches for a facing. And then I will cut it out and I will mark that I have to leave the seam allowance for that so they don't get too small. I'm placing my pattern on top of my material and then I'm going to cut those facings, leaving the seam allowance, of course. And then I cut 2 and then I will cut 2 more. And now is the time for cutting the pockets. For the pocket, I fold my material in 4 and I'm placing the pattern with pins. And I'm drawing with the seam allowance, but I'm leaving a little bit more because bigger is better. Now I have all my pieces, in total 8, 4 and 4. And now I'm going one by one, pinning them before I sew it. I do it this way because I make sure that I don't get confused and I don't sew any material in the wrong way. So I'm going to sew all of them as I pin them. And then I'm going to my serger and I go to serge all of them one by one. After I finish, it's a good idea to iron it before doing the top stitch. I first iron it flat and then iron it folded. I'm going back to my sewing machine and I'm making sure to do a top stitch stepping on the seam allowance. That way my pockets will be flat and comfortable. Then I'm going back to my ironing board and I iron all the pockets. Remember that the iron is our best friend. Then I'm going back to my serger and I'm going to serge all the heads of my 4 pieces of the pocket. And then I'm going to serge all the open sides of my dress. And remember that I said that open a little bit more than you needed, like a 1 or 2 inches more. This is because the serger cannot go to the very end. So you will need a little bit more space to then serge the material close, and then you will have enough opening as you desire at the beginning. So if you need 5 inches opening, you have to open around 9. Now I'm going back to my table and I'm going to mark the seam lines for my pockets. I'm marking as well the edges of the pocket, and I'm making sure to mark all the pieces in both sides. That will allow me to work in an easier manner. Then I'm going to take my dress, and in my dress everything is marked, and I'm going to sew the pockets. To not get confused, I place my pocket inside just to see that everything will go smooth. And now I'm gonna sew the pocket to the skirt with the two right side of the material facing together. And I'm making sure to align the seam lines and align as well the edges of the pocket. This is very important to have a better finished pocket, although don't get too stressed about that. Then I'm going to place my other side, and I'm making sure that they are mirrored and in the same position as much as possible. Now is the time to sew, and I'm starting sewing from edge to edge, and then I'm going to open this little piece, and then I'm going to do an under stitch, making sure to catch very well my seam allowance so the pocket won't show. I'm going to the back side, and then I'm gonna do exactly the same. When everything is done, I will flip my dress inside out, and then I'm gonna snip the pocket right after the edges. And put everything flat, and then I'm gonna pin everything and sew it from the edges all around. In this way, our pocket will be formed. And from now, it's just a matter of finishing. Making these pockets is very easy. It takes a little time, but it's really easy to do. Now that it's sewn, then I can go to my serger and serge all around. As you can see, I lift the foot from time to time because that way I can sew better the curve. I just have to finish the last part by sewing the side, and then I'm gonna sew just until my pocket starts, and then I will pivot my skirt and keep stitching until I encounter the lining that I did for my pocket. I do that at the bottom part, and here you go. My pocket is done. I didn't have enough material for the whole pocket, but as you can see, the facing I put is doing its job, so it's everything all nice and okay. And the dress shorter, looks cuter, and with the pocket is more practical. It couldn't be better than that. Would you buy a casual dress that didn't have pockets? If you find this video useful, please give us a like, and don't forget to subscribe, share, comment. Bye!